And joining us now are Virginia Congresswoman Elaine Luria and Abigail Spanberger. Congresswoman Luria served 2 decades in the Navy and is a member of the House Armed Services and Veterans Affairs Committees. And Congresswoman Spanberger served as a case officer with the CIA and is a member of the House Committee on Foreign Affairs. So thank you so much for joining us. Congresswoman Luria, I'll start with you. I want to start with both of you, though, on the mixed messaging from Washington. Do you feel your constituents are responding to this perhaps differently, than the way they responded to the president in the past?
Well, if you look
go
around, there's certainly folks out and about. They're doing their shopping for their necessities, but people are really, by and large, staying home. And people are complying with the orders of the governor. And if you ask people, I mean, even the small business owners I talk to who are struggling and they know that they want to get their doors back open, they understand that the public health aspect of this truly comes first. And we have to get through that so that we can recover safely.
Congresswoman Spanberger, same question. I'm just wondering how your constituents are responding, are feeling, are processing the messaging from the president, which does seem to jump back and forth every day.
Well, the contradictory nature of some of what the president has been saying is difficult to digest, and it's difficult for people to manage. But overall, we've had clear guidance from healthcare professionals, from our governor, and within our community, as Elaine mentioned, across Virginia, people are staying home. They are taking this public health crisis seriously. In my district, we've had the unfortunate and horrible circumstance of having large outbreaks in nursing homes and rehabilitation facilities. So the real impact of this crisis is present here in our district, and people are taking the steps necessary to protect themselves, protect their families, and protect the greater community. It's not without hardship and sacrifice, but people are recognizing how severe this moment is, and that's why Congress, we're voting today to provide additional support to business. That's vitally important, but we're in this together, and I'm grateful to be serving at this time with other members like Elaine Luria.
Congresswoman Luria, it's Willie Geist. It's good to have you on this morning. What do you say to the small business owner in your district who understands how serious the problem is? As we've been showing the polling, most Americans, Democrat and Republicans, support some version of this stay-at-home order that they've been asked to undertake. But there are small business owners who are looking at a long road ahead, potentially, as we hear doctors talk about this continuing into the fall and saying, I just can't survive. I've got 10 employees. I've got 20 employees. I can't keep the lights on for very long. What do you say to those small business owners? And I'm not talking about the protesters in the streets of Richmond. I'm talking about people in your district who are worried about their futures. What do you say to them?
Well, I've done a lot of outreach with the small business owners, and it's a very seasonal tourist industry here. And we also depend a lot on aquaculture and fisheries on the Eastern Shore. And, you know, these business owners are concerned because they have had to shut their doors. There's no one coming in now, but not knowing the time frame of when they'll be able to open up again. And when they do open up, you know, we know it's not going to be turning on the light switch and they're going to have full crowds and lots of people at the ocean front. So that timeline and that lack of knowing that is the biggest concern. What we've really been focusing on is trying to help the small business owners get the resources that have been made available through the CARES Act, the PPP Payroll Protection Program. And like Abigail said, we're going back to Washington today, and I'm very pleased that we'll be voting to put more funds into that program because we've had success stories. I've heard from business owners that, you know, I applied for this program. This is the amount that's going to get me through this time. And there's others who are still waiting because their applications are in or they might be in the approval process, and they didn't make it in before the funds ran out. We need to put more into that. And I understand that this program is not going to work for every type of business, and especially the seasonal and tourist businesses. It's going to be particularly challenging because it's just hard to judge and plan what the summer tourist season is going to look like, both at the oceanfront and the historic triangles such as Williamsburg and Jamestown.
Congresswoman Spanberger, Governor Northam has the stay-at-home order in effect in your state, as you know, until June the 10th. That's one of the longest in the country. What are you telling the people in your district, your constituents, about how long this might go and how they might have to expect this to be the way of life for a while?
Well, certainly anyone who has children within the Commonwealth of Virginia has felt the immediate impact. Our schools have been closed through the remainder of the year. So families with kids are already making plans, recognizing the length of this shift and change in the way that our community, our society, and our economy is functioning. When I'm talking with small business owners across our district, restaurant owners, small retailers, in our district, which is a very agricultural district, our farmers and producers, small business owners of a agricultural focus, we've been talking about the resources that are available to them, the PPP loans. Our office has been helping people, providing guidance. We've developed resource guides, and we are on the phone nonstop, providing that sort of support. And we've said that from what we're seeing, this is about a public health determination. This is ensuring that when we begin to reopen our economy, we are not setting ourselves up for a rebound, for this virus to come back even stronger than the first time. We have in Virginia been successful at pulling our potential apex forward in time, and our trajectory has been softened in terms of the number of cases and the number of anticipated deaths. So what we are doing here is saving lives. It is working. It is a tremendous sacrifice across the community. And people understand that. It is not without its hardship. But in Virginia, we are talking about being focused on the data and the science and ensuring that when we begin to reopen, we're doing it safely and securely.
Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger and Elaine Luria of Virginia, thank you both so much for everything you're doing.